Hey my dear friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars news update. In today's video we're going to be talking about Bo-Katan in The Mandalorian, a possible Knights of Ren series, and stay tuned to the end because Temuera Morrison has hinted that we could see other clones outside of Boba Fett. So without much further ado and without any more jibber jabber, let's dive straight into it. We have so much news to get through today my dear friends, and we begin by talking about a big rumour for a Bo-Katan series coming to Disney+. Take all rumours with a pinch of salt, but according to that hashtag show, Katie Sackhoff is going to star in her own spin-off after The Mandalorian Season 3 is over. Apparently this series is going to be an installment in the so-called Mandoverse, tying into the Book of Boba Fett, The Mandalorian and the Ahsoka series. Also taking place in the New Republic era, the show is set to be an iteration of The Mandalorian, focusing primarily on Bo-Katan Kryze, the Mandalorian fan favourite from the Clone Wars and Rebels, who of course came into live action in The Mandalorian Season 2, Chapter 11. Now usually I wouldn't report on a wild rumour like this, but I do think there is some credibility to it. The reason I say this is that before Rangers of the New Republic was officially announced, there were rumours of a show centred around Cara Dune and Bo-Katan. This ended up being Rangers of the New Republic, but with Gina Carano no longer being in the picture, Rangers of the New Republic is not an active production, but this Bo-Katan series might be a version of what that show was supposed to be. Rangers could still happen at a future date with a different plot to the original, but the Bo-Katan focused series could be what The Mandalorian Season 3 leads into. Whether this rumour is true or not, the Mandalorian universe is going to continue to expand. We have spin-offs like Ahsoka and the Book of Boba Fett, but there will likely be more afterwards. It makes sense from a business standpoint for Disney, especially given the success of The Mandalorian's first 2 seasons, and now the Book of Boba Fett. Another possibility is that this rumour could play into that report from Tatooine podcast about The Mandalorian becoming something very different after Season 3. They claimed that the 3rd season of The Mandalorian would be the last version of the show as we know it. They say that after Season 3, the show is going to become something very different. While the story of the characters we love will continue, it could have a new name or be split into multiple spin-offs, focusing on the journeys of various characters. I'm not too sure about this rumour, and I still think The Mandalorian will carry on into Season 4, but if it doesn't, there could be some substance to Bo-Katan having her own show that follows on from Season 3. Now, as we head into The Mandalorian's 3rd season, which is likely to drop this December, Bo-Katan is going to play a vital role. Right now, it might be hard to imagine her having her own series, but given the importance she's going to play in Din Djarin's story, now that he reluctantly wields the Darksaber, the direction her arc takes could very well set up something bigger for her. Time will tell, but I wouldn't discount this rumour too soon. Anything is possible. Now speaking of The Mandalorian Season 3, there were recent rumours by Bespin Bulletin stating that the you-know-what has caused production delays, but those are not true. They clarified this in a statement, and production continues, so great news there. So now my dear friends, let's talk about a supposed trailer leak that came out a few hours ago. It's been making the rounds in the fandom, and as you would imagine, people have a lot of varied opinions on it. It's for a project called Knights of Ren, a Star Wars story, and the trailer looks incredible. At first, I automatically assumed it was fake, but the effort put into it, if it is fake, is top notch. And I'm not the only one saying this, the quality is professional, especially with the simulations. Cinematic Captures commented on the original video, pointing out specific elements that make it look legit, and they would know. One question that a lot of people have with this trailer is why would someone go through all of this effort, just to leak a fake trailer? And for that reason, I'm in two minds about it, because some aspects scream fake, for example the 2021 Disney Plus logo at the end, and also the weird use of a Star Wars story. We assumed that Lucasfilm moved past that after Rogue One and Solo. At this point, nobody really knows. It could be for a legit animated series, or maybe a movie, or even a video game. Or as I say, it could be all fake. During the trailer, you hear Snoke's voice putting a spin on Yoda's quote from The Phantom Menace. Snoke says, "Fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate," but instead of saying hate leads to suffering, he says hate leads to power. All in all, the trailer has tropes of being legit, and yet, a couple of things feel off. And how come this project has gone completely under the radar without a single mention, a single leak, nothing? But in any case, a Knights of Ren show does make a lot of sense, because not only were they completely underused in the sequel trilogy, but they've now re-emerged in Crimson Reign, which follows on from more of the bounty hunters between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. So a live action or animated re-emergence to expand their backstory is possible. I'll look out for any more details following this trailer and report back on any new info. But now guys, we're going to talk about something truly exciting. Temuera Morrison, in an interview with the Washington Post, has teased the live action return of some fan favourite clones, and not just Boba Fett. But I must clarify, this is not for the Book of Boba. It could be, but it's more likely to be for various projects, like the Kenobi series and Ahsoka. He specifically name drops Rex and Commander Cody as examples of characters whose stories are probably going to be explored. Very exciting stuff. Let's see what Temuera had to say. He starts out by talking about his experience as Boba Fett, but then he dives into his experience in the prequels as Jango Fett and the Clone Army. So they say, Temuera Morrison vividly remembers the first time he tried on his Boba Fett suit. He sat in a meeting room with Star Wars VIP producers Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, and instantly he felt stronger, apparently with the urge to stick out his chest a little. And he says, there was no denying the electricity of the moment. Filoni then told him that they'd made the right decision in bringing Morrison back to Star Wars as one of the franchise's most popular characters. The Washington Post then say, Morrison wasn't just the right choice, he was the only choice, more specifically, the only face. The opportunity to portray both the father and son at different points in the timeline is a very rare acting opportunity, but if there's one thing the Star Wars universe has always excelled in, it's dramatic father issues. And this shows in the Book of Boba Fett's first few episodes. Boba misses Jango, and nobody is denying the fact that we might see Jango in a flashback in a future episode. For the moment, Temuera Morrison is very secretive on just how much of his face we're going to see outside of the Book of Boba Fett. But there are so many other opportunities, including in Obi-Wan Kenobi and Ahsoka, and Morrison even name drops two of them. In his own words he said, well, there are people. I'm thinking of Captain Rex for one, he looks a little like me. Then there's Commander Cody, what happened to those guys? There's all those clone armies, that could be something fresh and new and exciting. And without realizing it, by name dropping those two, he kind of confirms he's been in those roles, and we know this to be the case, because one of the earliest casting rumors for Deborah Chow's Obi-Wan Kenobi is Temuera Morrison reprising the role of Commander Cody as he did in Revenge of the Sith. I made an entire video about what could have happened to Cody after Order 66, but the truth is, we simply don't know, and that's a story for either the Bad Batch, Kenobi, or both. As for Captain Rex, he has been rumoured to be in the Ahsoka series, but also, along with Echo from the Bad Batch, Rex was mentioned in that 4chan plot leak for the Book of Boba Fett. We shouldn't give that plot leak too much credit, but some elements might be true. In either case, I think we will see Tem as other clones. We know that Dave Filoni has episode 6 of the Book of Boba Fett, and I wouldn't be surprised if in that episode he throws in something special that we didn't expect. Now, speaking of the Book of Boba Fett, Daniel Logan has teased you never know who's going to show up in reference to the flashbacks in the Book of Boba Fett. In yesterday's episode, we got a repeat flashback of Kamino, but Daniel Logan is saying they're not for nothing, and something is coming. I think there are three options. We could see a Jango flashback, a Mace Windu appearance, or maybe even Omega. I want to make an entire video dedicated to this subject. There is so much substance there. Chapter 3 was a real treat, things have really picked up, and as I said in my full episode breakdown, and go check that out if you've not done so, there are bigger villains coming. Once we move into Chapter 4, the gear shift is going to be very noticeable. But otherwise, my dear friends, that brings us to the end of this news update. So many things to talk about. Let me know your thoughts on all of them in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're brand new, and a massive welcome if you are. And also be sure to check out my Patreon. The link is down there in the description, and you get access to many videos not found here on YouTube. But until the next one, my dear friends, where we'll be talking more about the Book of Boba Fett, may the Force be with you all. I'm Star Wars Meg. Have a good one.